When I was a child, I would take my Game Boy Advance to the bathroom with me when I had to poop, and I would sit there playing Pokemon to the point where my mom had to start limiting the amount of time I was allowed to be in the bathroom. To this day, my ass still hurts. Point of the story is, the Game Boy Advance was a huge part of my childhood and has now become a huge part of my adulthood. However, this console has become dated. The Game Boy Advance SP is over 20 years old, and this fossil, much like myself, could use some upgrades, which is why I decided it's finally time to build myself the ultimate Game Boy Advance SP. So fresh off the Facebook Marketplace menu is this AGS-001 Game Boy Advance, which has the shitty backlight screen and is super beat up but still works great, so this is going to make the perfect candidate to upgrade it and restore it into a brand new console. To do this, we're going to surgically replace the old charging port with a modern USB-C port, upgrade the screen to IPS, install an upgraded battery, add some LED color changing buttons because hell yeah, and slap it all into a brand new shiny shell. This thing is going to be sick, and I'm super excited to play some hardcore games like freaking Jimmy Neutron or something. So let's quit stalling and let's start building. I'm going to start out with the charging port. To do this, I'm going to take out the motherboard and desolder the old port to remove it. This isn't a super difficult job, but it is tedious and requires a lot of patience, and mine was running out. The thick globs of solder they put on each side of the port was a little more resilient than I anticipated, but after a while it finally came out and I'll never have to use this stupid proprietary charging port ever again. Now, I'm going to prepare the board for the new charging port by stuffing these gaping holes with fresh solder. Then I line up the new port, and once it looks good, I take my 600-degree finger burner millimeters away from my skin, and with the power of luck and nothing more, the new port has been grounded to the board. But we're not done yet. There's tiny tabs on the back that also need soldered, which ends up going perfectly horrible.
Fuck, dude. What the fuck did I just do there?
Unbeknownst to my little baby brain, things can go very wrong when soldering the intricate bits on a motherboard. My soldering iron slipped and bridged two tiny fuses together and created a microscopic bond that could quite possibly ruin my entire day. After sitting and prodding at these insanely tiny fuses, I ended up getting them separated and seated them back into their normal positions. Now the next thing I'm going to do is install this LED color changing buttons kit, which seems like a really easy mod. All you have to do is line it up on the motherboard and solder a few pre-cut holes in place. Easy peasy, right? Right?
Wrong.
Apparently the solder doesn't want to stick to the Game Boy's motherboard at all, no matter what I do. I'm using flux, messing with the temperature on my soldering iron, re-cleaning the contacts with alcohol, and for the life of me I cannot get this solder to stick. All it does is keep balling up and rolling away. Then I went online and found one thread where somebody suggested sanding down the contacts. So I did that, and finally, the solder is doing what it's supposed to do. Here it is finally installed, and after that whole debacle, I need to make sure it actually works. Would you look at that? It's beautiful. There is nothing more satisfying than seeing reward for your efforts in real time. Moving on with this build, we got an IPS screen to really bring out the best of what a modded Game Boy Advance can offer. These have become pretty painless to install. The one I got came with a brand new shell, and it's essentially just plug and play. They come with a wire in case you want to solder the screen controls to the brightness button, but you can also just control it as a touchscreen, which is how I'm going to do it. And here's the top screen all put together. Now it's time to start assembling the bottom half. I got these translucent ash gray buttons to replace the original ones so that the LED lights can shine through. I'll drop these in, connect the screen, install the board, tighten everything back up, and finally, we're approaching the finish line. Ooh, yes, dude, it works, and oh man, does it look good. The screen is incredible, the buttons look amazing in the light and the dark, and now I can charge the battery without a dumb dedicated cord. But there's one more thing this Game Boy could use. I got this grip a while back, and it conveniently matches in color. Now, I've built the ultimate Game Boy Advance SP. To be honest with you, this thing looks like the fucking Battle Pass. I really can't get over how much more premium this feels than any other Game Boy I've ever held. And I built it myself. If I can do it, you can too. Hopefully this video can inspire someone else to build themselves a custom Game Boy, even if it's not an Advance. The options are endless, and there's no better feeling than knowing that you did it yourself. Anyway, Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more Junky content coming soon.